All right, guys, welcome to the video about analyzing data. I know this can be kind of scary for people like me who aren't necessarily experts with data, but that's okay. As a media buyer, you just need to understand which metrics are important and where to find them. So let's hop in. All right, guys, so in this video, we're gonna talk about analyzing data. So before we can figure out what to do to either fix underperforming campaigns or to scale campaigns that are performing really well, we have to figure out what the heck is going on, right? Obviously, inside of the Facebook platform, there's a lot of data, not to mention inside of Google Analytics or, whatever tracking software you're using. There's a lot to look at, and it can get very, very overwhelming. So you will see in this module, I'm really going to simplify things in terms of analyzing data and scaling your campaigns. Module 2 was really hefty. We talked a lot about creating ad copy, creating creatives that really convert. That is what's important, guys. This module is obviously very important, but scaling and really looking at data is actually pretty simple because we're going to let the data tell us what's going on. So if we did a good job in module 2, the data will tell us if there's room for improvement. The data will tell us that too, but I absolutely believe we should keep this super simple so it doesn't turn into a big mess of numbers, which is very, very overwhelming. So to help analyze your data and figure out the health of your campaigns, we've created this health checklist. Now, I recommend using this checklist at least once a week to go back and check in on the success of your campaigns. So every Wednesday at Digital Marketer, we look at the current success of our traffic campaigns in the last 30 days. That allows us to, not just look at a super small window of data that could give us a false positive or a false negative, and it allows us to really keep the pulse on our campaigns if we're looking at 30 days worth of data every week. Obviously, you guys don't have 30 days worth of data yet, and that's totally okay. But this health checklist is going to really allow you to pay attention to what's important. Right? And especially when we get inside of the Facebook ad platform, it'll keep you from getting distracted by any vanity metrics that don't matter. Now, when you're looking at a campaign, you're not going to judge the success off of every metric that you see here on this list. So if you remember back to the traffic plays, there was a section on each play that said success metric. And I listed the metric that was most important to the success of that particular campaign. So most of the time with the monetization campaigns, the success metric was ROI, right? Sometimes cost per lead. For a lot of the acquisition campaigns, it was cost per click or cost per view. Relevance score and frequency are good metrics to look at to see really how your campaign, how your particular ads are resonating with the audience. Frequency is going to make sure we're not showing the ad too many times. And then a page conversion rate and unique click-through rate are going to tell us, how attractive is this ad to our audience, and how well are they converting on the page once they click. So not all of these metrics are going to denote success for every one of your campaigns, but these are really the big ones that we listed on your traffic plays. And relevant score down are metrics that you can really calculate for every campaign as long as you're sending traffic over to a landing page. Now, ROI, of course, is going to be tracked inside of Google Analytics or inside of your CRM. So I'm actually going to hop over into the Facebook dashboard so I can sort of put a name to a face here so you guys know where to pull these metrics from. This is a test campaign that I set up for TrueConversion.com. It's a piece of software that we own. And with this particular campaign, we're using the opt-in play. And we are sending traffic to a landing page, asking people to opt in for a landing page blueprint. So you can see we're generating leads here. I can see our cost per lead. You can see our budget. I just set up 2 ad sets here for simplicity. But I'm going to use this campaign to show you where to pull these metrics. You'll also notice that we have benchmark and actual. So right off the bat, you might not know, for example, what your cost per lead needs to be for you to run a successful campaign. But after a week or so, you should be able to say, okay, based off of the metrics, in this campaign, based off of what's happening in this particular selling system, in order for me to make my money back or for this to be worth it for us, the cost per lead needs to be under $7. So after they opt in for the landing page blueprint, we then ask them to sign up for a trial of our True Conversion software. So if we do the math backwards, we know that if we can keep our cost per lead under $7, this is going to be a profitable campaign for us. So cost per lead is the big success metric here for this particular campaign. Again, it's going to depend on which traffic plays you've picked, but you need to do the math backwards to figure out, okay, what can I pay per click, right? In this particular selling system, in this funnel, for this to actually make me money, after 30 days. So if we go back to this health checklist, ROI, that's pretty self-explanatory. Cost per lead, if you're running the opt-in play, your leads are listed here. So you'll see that it's also reporting other conversions that people have taken after they've seen this ad. But if you set up a custom conversion like we talked about in Module 3, this should report the number of leads that you've generated from this particular campaign. So a little bit over 3,000 leads, which I'm happy with. And both of these ad sets are under $7. So a lot of people ask me, Molly, so should I turn off every ad set that's not the lowest? So imagine if we had 5 ad sets here and they were all under $7. Well, if I had the budget and the cash flow to spend money on all of those ad sets, I would keep them all on, right? As long as they are under our benchmark, right? As long as the actual is under the benchmark here for our success metric, I'm going to keep both of these ad sets on because they are both performing in a way that is still profitable, that's still good for us here at Digital Marketers. So really understanding that one always doesn't have to win inside of a traffic platform. All of them can win, right? If all of your ad sets are performing well, good for you. You've done a really, really good job. So cost per click, you can find cost per click if that's a success metric for you under here. So if you go to columns and then customize columns, there's a ton of information here, guys, that you can pull. So cost per click, we have typed click, CPC, cost per link click. So you can see our cost per click is really high if you were just looking at cost per click, but our page is converting so well that our cost per lead is still under $7. So that's why it's important to measure your success metric first, right? Cost per lead is really all that matters to me. Even though this cost per click is high, I'm still generating exactly the results that I was looking for. Cost per view, obviously we're not running a video campaign here. So that can also be found if you type video. There are a ton of options here for you to use as a success metric. 3 second, 10 second, 30 second, 25, 50, 75. So these are all available columns here for you. Relevance score. So relevance score is very, very important. So relevance score is a score out of 10 that's going to tell you how well particular ads are resonating with your audience. Again, it's a score out of 10, and it's based off of an algorithm that calculates, it's based off of a formula that's looking at the amount of people who have commented on your ad, the amount of people who have shared your ad, and the amount of positive and negative feedback that you've actually received. So you can see here our relevant score is 4. Anything that's a 4 and above is good. If it's below, I would start to question if your targeting is off or if your copy just isn't resonating with the audience. But a relevance score is great to look at to see how well is this particular ad resonating with my audience? It's something that I'm always looking at on our campaigns. And if it's a 4 and above, I'm happy. If it's below, then I'm starting to really look at my targeting and the actual ad. Is this ad offending someone in some way? Is there something that we can do to make it more relevant to the audience? So this is found at the ad level here, and is definitely something we look at in every campaign. Frequency. So frequency is the amount of times that people are seeing your ad. So I don't like for our frequency to exceed 10. Effective frequency is around 7. But this is a really good metric to look at to see if your audience is getting tired, right? So if your relevant score, ours is a little bit over 2, a little bit over 1, there's a lot more meat on the bone here for these particular audiences. So we can keep this, this campaign running. We can keep these ad sets running. We could even increase this budget if we want. And I'll talk about that in the scaling video. But frequency, as long as your frequency isn't over 10, you're totally fine. It's just a great metric to track to see, okay, is this particular audience getting tired of this ad? Have I shown this ad too many times? Then we're going to look at page conversion rate and unique click-through rate. So first, you're going to want to pull unique clicks here. So if we pull unique link clicks, so we're at 4,502. So this is the amount of people who have clicked on this particular ad, unique people. 3,143 are the amount of people who took action on the page. So if we whip out our handy calculator here and we divide those two numbers, we'll find that the conversion rate on this particular landing page for us is a little under 70%, which is really, really good. It means that our targeting is good, and it means that people actually want what's on the page when they're clicking over. So I'm always calculating conversion rate. If your success metric is at a place where you would like it to be, if your ROI is good or your cost per click or your cost per lead, and the conversion rate on your page is only 10%, That's okay. It doesn't make the campaign bad. It just means that we have room for optimization. Remember, if we can increase the conversion on the landing page, it's only going to better the results of our traffic campaign. So this is a great way to calculate your page conversion rate by taking the number of clicks over to the page and dividing that by the number of people that took whatever action. Again, it doesn't have to be good or bad. It's just a good metric to start to track every week. And then the last metric I have on here is unique click-through rate. So how many people... unique click-through rate of people that are clicking on your ad. Right now, this is at 1.8%. That's pretty good. Anything over 1%, thumbs up. Again, this isn't a metric that if it's below 1%, you should turn the campaign off, but it's a great metric to track every week so that when you go into troubleshooting your campaign, you can see, the best points of optimization, right? Is it on my actual ad or is it on the landing page? And we'll talk about that more in the next video. I also left two blank metrics open here if there are other metrics that you want to track that are more specific to your particular campaign. But this is really easy, guys. Pick out the success metric that best says, yes, this campaign is working for your particular traffic play. Again, go ahead and look at the play. There's a section that says success metric right there for you. And then always go in and check every week the relevance score, the frequency, your page conversion rate, if that applies to your campaign, and your unique click-through rate. So then when it's time to go into troubleshoot, you'll know which areas really need optimization, which areas that if you improve are going to make the biggest difference in your campaign. So again, guys, this is something you should do every week. And after you have run traffic to this particular campaign for a week or two, you should be able to benchmark most of these, right? And give yourself what is good, what is bad. It's absolutely going to depend on the play that you selected, the market that you're in, but don't get distracted by vanity metrics. Make sure that you're keeping your eye on the prize and that you're really looking at what's important, that one metric that's most important for that particular campaign. All right, guys, so go ahead, download this health checklist. It's in the workbook. Again, start using that weekly. And in the next video, we're going to start talking about what to do once you have these metrics. So what does troubleshooting look like? How do you go about making these traffic campaigns better? Thanks, guys.